And we're back. Now, again, I edited this, so this should say 3.2 measure dispersion, but I edited this to match more closely with what is actually on Hawks. This is going to say 3.2a, which is going to cover just a few things, which is, since 3.1 was measure of center, this is actually going to be measures of spread. Now, they use the word dispersion, same thing, measure of spread. So we're going to show how things are spread out. Now, this is really it. We're going to compute range, we're going to compute variance, and we're going to compute standard deviation, and that's all we're going to do. Now, if you followed the video on how to do this on your calculator, range won't come up on your calculator. In fact, it's not really going to come up on Excel unless you really want to do it. But range is a simple formula. You're just going to want to write it down and then do it on your calculator. Just regular this minus this. That's all it is. All you do for range is subtract two numbers. You just have to find them first. Variance and standard deviation are done a little differently. If you remember, standard deviation will come up on your calculator if you go to the, you do the appropriate measures to get to it. But variance, if you remember, you have to do an extra special step to find variance, whether it's population variance or sample variance. Again, if you want to use your calculator, watch the video on how to use the calculator. It should say, for descriptive statistics, chapter 3. So mostly on this video, I'm going to show Excel, or again, Google Sheets. Now here's your formula for range. It's your max data value minus your min data value. Pause the video, write down the formula. I'm going to move on, okay? So pause it now, write down the formula. Okay, moving on. So find the range. And again, I could look at this. It's much easier to sort this. So 2 is the smallest, and 44 is the biggest, so 44 minus 2 is 42. Same answer here, 2 is the smallest, 44 is the biggest, so they both have a range of 42. That's it for range. Okay, this is a really short section, this one, 3.2a is. Standard deviation. Now, they're going to show you a formula, how to find standard deviation, and again, I want you to completely ignore the formula. Hopefully, like you did for finding mean, we don't have to do it. This is the formula. Now, again, that's not the symbol we use, but I can't edit this PowerPoint because every time I try to edit this, it crashes. So we use this symbol, so I'm just going to type it on there. We use this symbol, sigma. That's I tried to do that with my mouse and I can't do it. We use this symbol, sigma. All right. So that is population standard deviation on your calculator. If you're using your calculator, it's going to come up as this, sigma x. It kind of looks like ox, okay, but it's actually sigma x. Again, don't worry about that. You don't need that. Either use Google Sheets or use your calculator. All right. Sample standard deviation, that is the symbol, but if you use your calculator, you're going to see this symbol for sample standard deviation. S with a subscript X for sample standard. All right, again, ignore the formula here. Now, it says calculate the sample standard deviation from the following data collected regarding the numbers of hours students studied in the field. So here we have 5, 8, 7, 6, 9. Let's just do a harder one. Okay, here we go. So we're going to this on Google Sheets. Since I don't have a way to copy and paste. Type it in. I don't have a way to copy and paste. 7, 8, 1, 9. $52. 7, 140. 9, 37. 9. More numbers on down here. So, all right. So I'm gonna delete this right here because I need room. Hopefully you wrote all that down from 3.1a, 3.1, not 1. So we are going to do 2 different standard deviations and 2 different variances. Okay, so we're going to start with population. Okay, so we're going to have sigma, or is this, we'll just say standard deviation. Standard dev, because I don't want to write the whole thing. And then variance, var, just variance. And then we're going to have sample. And again, I'm going to highlight things and edit. Oh, I can do that. Here it is, bold, and find it. There you go. Bold and underline. Oh, there we go. We have, I'll just copy and paste this. Now, the formula for standard deviation is equal to, for population is a bit different. It is STDEV. And if it's again, you can see it's .p for population, .s for sample. I'm going to use .p, .p of a colon a, and that is equals st dot of a colon a. And variance is equal to var dot p for population of a colon a. Again, that is equal to var dot p of a colon a. And no, I'm not going to post this Google Sheets. Okay, you're going to have to do it yourself. Right. All right, now sample. Now notice we use .p for population. We're going to use .s for sample. So it's going to be the same formula. Equals stdev.s sample standard deviation of a colon a, and var.s for sample variance of a colon a. In copy and paste. Copy. S. So now if I wanted the range, what I would have to do is I would definitely have to sort data. I'm going to say short range because that's only going to short my column. It's not going to sort the entire sheet like it did here. Short range. There you go. So you see how nothing else was shifted around? There we go. My range would be 60 minus 11. That would be 49. So range would be 49. No formula for it because it's just your biggest minus your smallest. So you just want to sort your data for that. All right, I think that covers everything. So yeah, sample variance of this data. So I'm going to copy what I wanted. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to paste. So sample variance. Now I wanted sample variance. It is 2. All right, it is 2. An answer. All right, it was correct. I don't know why it skipped it. Maybe because I waited so long, it kind of said it didn't like it. So copy data and do it again. All right, so delete, paste. Sample variance is 172. 172. So there it is. Then it's going to ask for sample standard deviation. And that is, what do they want me to go to? one decimal place. So 13.1. All right. And then they want the range. So I'm going to have to find, I'm going to sort the data, sort just the range. 14 minus a negative 12. Now 14 minus a negative 12 is 26. There you go. This is all it's going to ask you. Now, this one's different because this one's asking for population. You're going to have to pay attention whether they ask you for sample or population. This one, once I delete this and paste the new file, I'm going to go ahead and sort. All right. They want the sample. Okay, so that is, oh no, they want population. Haha. 13.84. How far they want us to go? One more decimal place was given. So they didn't give us any, so we're going to go to one decimal place. So 13.8 and 3.7. 0.8, 3.7. Range, didn't look at that. 18 minus 6 is 12. And there it is. Now that's all they're going to ask you on these. Well, they do ask you more questions. So let's get down to it. This is the same question. So yep. Calculate sample standard deviation. So again, copy data, sample. Yeah, skip this one. Skip that one. This is the question. Rose is looking to invest a portion of her recent bonus into the stock market, and while researching different companies, she discovered the following standard deviations of 1 year of daily stock closing prices. The Azure Travel Company has a standard deviation of 1.03, and the I Remember Enterprises has a standard deviation of 9.6. Based on the data, and assuming the trends continue, which company would give Rose a stable, long-term investment? Now, standard deviation is the average amount of change. Okay, is the average amount of change. So if you want the stablest stock, you want to pick one that has the smallest standard deviation. Now, the reason why they call it the stablest is because it doesn't change that much. Okay, it doesn't run the risk of dropping price really quickly, but it also doesn't usually raise price quickly. It's something that you will either steadily grow or steadily decrease, but not much else. It doesn't do anything that jumps up and down. Okay, it just is very steady. So you want to choose the Azure Travel Company because the smaller standard deviation indicates that it has the less amount of variability in its closing price. So Azure Company, the smaller standard deviation indicates the Azure Travel Company has less variability. I have to be careful here because it's right here that you think you're choosing the right answer, but the smaller standard deviation does not indicate greater mean. That definitely has nothing to do with the greater mean. Okay, it means it's less variable. It's more stable. And that's it for 3.2a. So we're going to move on to 3.2b. So I'll make another video. Go get 3.2a done, and then come back for 3.2b.